Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to talk about God. Many people, a lot of people, when things go wrong, they blame God. And I always try to tell people that God truly gives us free will. Now, people will counter it. Well, then why did my son get shot and why was he murdered and blah, 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 blah? Because that was truly the pattern of what was going to come. I often say that this is school, that we are here to learn and to experience. This is not hell on earth, but it truly is school because we have to learn through sometimes tragic experiences. And it teaches us to what we will become. Often I always say God is the creator, allowing us to have free will. The actions that you take are your choice. I believe that. I do. The actions and how you see it and what will come of it. Many times I counsel people that have lost their children, which I truly believe that is the hardest thing anyone could ever go through, much more than losing a spouse. But I say you never, ever plan to bury your child. But I notice that it's how these parents are going to handle it and get through it. I think out of all the parents I've counseled, two stick out in my mind. I have one gentleman who lost his son, and he has other children as well, and it was tragic. He died of brain cancer. But I commend him because he never lost his faith in God. And he said, Susie, I have to believe that my son is with God. And I know I get the signs from my son. He comes in my dreams. He shows me a sign of something. And he says, and I know it's real. And I have to believe that I will see him again someday. And I don't blame God because I truly believe it was my son's time. I had another woman who was a client. She came in with 6 women and they all did their sessions and she was the last one. And this woman was probably the most inspiring woman I've ever met. And I remember seeing, fire engines and ambulances. And I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but did you have a child that passed? And she said, yes, I did. And I said, yeah, because I see it and I think it's with a car. And she says, my son died in a car accident. I said, I'm so sorry. And she says, by a drunk driver. I says, my God. And then it was interesting. We're talking about other things in the reading, but yet I saw the ambulances coming again. And I did not know how to tell her this because I'm thinking, is it 2 children that could possibly have passed? I thought, no. So I thought, I'm not going to say anything because I was a little nervous about it. And ironically, as we were talking, I asked if she had a daughter. And she says, I have 2 daughters. And she says, one is in heaven. And then I knew. And I looked at her and I says, did she have an accident? She says, yes, it was very fast. She just got her driver's license. And ironically, 7 years to the day that my oldest child had a hit and run, my daughter got into a car accident, ironically by a drunk driver. I cannot tell you how taken back I was by this. I actually started to cry, which I don't cry very often, but boy, I just sobbed. Here she is across from my desk, and I'm thinking, how do you live? How do you live past that? How do you do it? And I said this to her. And she says, well, I'll tell you. She says, my husband and I were devastated. Not once, but twice. We have 4 children. And my husband was beside himself. And I'll never forget, she said, I said to him, we are on top of a cliff. And we are hanging by a thread. I choose to pull myself up. And I hope you do the same. But if you don't, I can't be responsible because it's your free will to what you want to focus on. I like to think that our daughter's with our son and was with God. We still have 2 more children and we have to be a mother and a father. So I chose to live with grace and dignity. Yes, I miss my 2 babies without a doubt. Every day, every minute that I think of them. But I know they're in good hands, and I cannot be mad at God. I will never forget that. She taught me so much. This woman was truly an inspiration beyond words, because she decided how she was going to not only look at the situation, but how she was going to live her life. Since then, her 2 children also have grown, gave her grandchildren, and I like to think that this woman still makes a difference by the presence of who she is and what she does. Like I said, many times we're human. Sometimes we're going to get angry at God for bad things that happen to great people every single day. But it's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that you've been cursed. Truly, it is about strength and faith. Faith in God, but also faith in yourself. But it's all in what you choose. And I really wanted to address this because there's so much happening in this world. Our choices are everything. And we have to be more mindful to what we do, who we talk to, where we go. I'm not saying that we should live like a hermit and stay inside. Of course not. But if you see that it's not a good thing, you need to trust your instincts, because that intuition also comes from God. And God is trying to let you know that this is not right for you, so you need to listen. Every day I hear stories, and every day I make contact with very unique circumstances, and sometimes I walk away, yes, even me, and I walk away thinking, how could this have happened? Like, oh my God. And it stays with me for a long time until I can figure it out or make peace with it. But I will say one thing. Will I ever be mad at God? The answer is no. No, because it's what I choose. And we all have that right to choose, but I always say, even though we don't understand the tragedy behind certain things, we have to get through it. We have to. Because the bottom line is, when our loved ones are watching us from above, they don't want to see us like this. I always say to my clients, if it were you that passed, and you now are looking at your children or your spouse, and they're having a horrible time, and they just can't be the person that you remember, how would that make you feel? And they all say the same thing. Well, I would be very upset. I don't want to see my family upset. That's exactly what our loved ones are thinking about us. Be the best person you can be, because if you think they're not watching, guess again. So we may not have the power to stop sometimes the tragedies, but we do have the faith in how we're going to look at it. And like I said, we have choice. God gives us a long leash, but it's what we do with it. So I hope in some small way that this has put a better perspective in how you look at God and who you're going to blame. Because like I said, this is school. Bad things are going to happen. We're not going to always have good things that come to us, and it's not perfect. The afterlife is all about being perfect, but here it's all about experiences and soul growth, and we have to keep the faith. So until next time, I hope this has enlightened you. Follow me on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and more to come. Please have a very blessed week. All the best to all of you. Bye-bye.